year is 1968. For the soldiers of the United States Army's 1st Infantry Division, every sunrise in South Vietnam begins with uncertainty. There are no front lines here, no clear battlefield, no towering fortress waiting to be captured. Instead, the enemy hides among thick jungles, rubber plantations, rice paddies, and villages that appear peaceful until the first shot is fired. Known as the Big Red One, the 1st Infantry Division has already spent years fighting one of the most unpredictable wars in modern history. Their mission is simple on paper: locate enemy forces, disrupt Viet Cong operations, and secure villages suspected of supporting communist fighters. In reality, every patrol carries the possibility of ambush, hidden explosives, or an unseen sniper waiting patiently in the trees. As dawn breaks, American soldiers move carefully toward a small village. Their rifles are raised, but their movements remain controlled. Every doorway, every narrow trail, and every patch of tall grass could conceal danger. The soldiers are not searching for an army, they are searching for evidence. In this war, information is often more valuable than bullets. Villagers gather outside their homes as American troops begin systematic searches. Women and elderly residents answer questions through interpreters, while soldiers inspect huts and storage areas. Every conversation could reveal the location of enemy fighters or conceal them. Trust is difficult to earn. Many civilians simply want to survive another day. Others may secretly provide food, medicine, or intelligence to Viet Cong guerrillas. Distinguishing between friend and foe is one of the greatest challenges facing every American patrol. Soon, the soldiers uncover one of the enemy's simplest yet deadliest weapons: a pile of sharpened bamboo spikes. These crude traps, often called punji stakes, are inexpensive to build but devastating in combat. Hidden beneath leaves or shallow pits, they can cripple a soldier with a single careless step. Many are coated with dirt or waste, increasing the risk of severe infection, even if the wound itself is not fatal. The discovery confirms what the patrol already suspected. Enemy fighters have operated in this area. The questioning becomes more focused. Soldiers ask villagers about the traps, attempting to learn who built them and when they were placed. Some residents answer cautiously. Others remain silent. Whether from fear, loyalty, or uncertainty, the truth is often difficult to uncover. Several individuals identified as possible suspects are escorted away for further questioning. Such detentions are a routine part of counterinsurgency operations, yet they illustrate one of the war's deepest moral complexities. Every decision carries consequences. A guilty suspect may escape unnoticed, while an innocent civilian may become caught in the machinery of war. Nearby, a combat photographer quietly prepares his 16mm motion picture camera. His weapon is not a rifle, but a lens. His assignment is to document history exactly as it unfolds. Every frame he records will eventually become part of the official military archive, preserving moments that most people back home will never witness firsthand. As filming continues, soldiers begin transforming an exposed position into a defensive outpost. Shovels strike the hard earth, foxholes deepen, sandbags are filled by hand, one after another. The work is exhausting beneath the tropical heat, but experience has taught these men an important lesson. A well-built bunker can mean the difference between survival and death when mortars begin to fall. There is no glamour in digging, only necessity. Soon, the steady rhythm of helicopter blades breaks the silence overhead. A UH-1 Huey appears first, followed by the arrival of senior leadership. Brigadier General William C. Coleman, Assistant Division Commander, steps onto the landing zone and is greeted by officers already directing operations in the field. Unlike commanders who remain far behind the front, Coleman has come forward to inspect the situation personally. Gathered around maps spread across makeshift tables, officers discuss troop positions, intelligence reports, suspected enemy movements, and the challenges ahead. Every colored line on the map represents real men operating in dense jungle only a few kilometers away. Decisions made here will shape everything that follows. Behind the command group, soldiers continue digging. War rarely pauses for meetings. Even as commanders plan tomorrow's operations, enlisted men prepare to defend today's position. The distant sound of helicopters grows louder once again. This time they are not carrying commanders. They are bringing artillery. Massive 105mm howitzers are carefully positioned by ground crews, while a CH-47 Chinook descends overhead carrying another gun suspended beneath it by heavy cables. The aircraft hovers with remarkable precision as soldiers guide the artillery safely onto the ground. Within minutes, crews begin assembling and calibrating the weapon. The sights are adjusted, elevation is measured, ammunition is prepared. When called upon, these guns can deliver high explosive shells several miles away, supporting infantry units that may soon find themselves in desperate need of firepower. In Vietnam, artillery often serves as the invisible shield protecting soldiers beyond the horizon. But despite all this preparation, no amount of planning can eliminate the uncertainty waiting beyond the next tree line. The patrol will soon move again, and somewhere ahead, unseen eyes are already watching. The patrol leaves the security of its newly established position and begins moving deeper into the countryside. Ahead lies a vast rubber plantation, one of countless plantations established during the French colonial era. Long, perfectly spaced rows of towering trees stretch toward the horizon, creating an eerie landscape where visibility is deceptive. From a distance, the plantation appears orderly and peaceful. For experienced soldiers, however, it is one of the most dangerous places to fight. The straight rows offer little cover, while the trees themselves provide countless hiding places for enemy fighters. Every shadow between the trunks could conceal a rifle. Every patch of undergrowth could hide an ambush. As the column advances, the contrast of war becomes impossible to ignore. Local women continue tapping rubber trees, collecting the white latex that sustains their livelihood. Their daily routine continues despite the presence of armed soldiers moving only a few meters away. For these civilians, war has become part of everyday life. The sounds of helicopters, distant artillery, and marching boots are no longer unusual. They are the backdrop to another day's work. The soldiers continue along a dusty road winding through the plantation. Communication is kept to a minimum. Hand signals replace conversation. Eyes constantly scan the tree line, searching for movement. Unlike conventional armies, the Viet Cong rarely announce their presence. They strike suddenly, disappear into the jungle, and force their opponents to fight an enemy they often cannot see. As the patrol approaches the outskirts of the village of Ap Loc Than, the atmosphere changes. The pace slows. Weapons are raised. Men spread out instinctively, taking cover behind a roadside embankment overlooking the settlement. Somewhere inside the village, enemy fighters may be waiting. The operation is no longer simply a patrol. It has become a coordinated search. Moments later, the familiar thunder of helicopter rotors fills the air. A transport helicopter descends into the landing zone, carrying soldiers of the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, better known as the ARVN. These South Vietnamese troops fight alongside the Americans, sharing responsibility for securing their own country. Although their training, equipment, and experience often differ from their American counterparts, cooperation between the two forces remains essential. American officers quickly brief the arriving ARVN soldiers. Maps are unfolded, objectives are explained, routes of advance are assigned. Interpreters bridge the language barrier as both forces prepare to enter the village together. The success of the operation depends on coordination. Once inside, American and South Vietnamese soldiers move carefully from house to house. Every structure must be cleared, every room inspected. One ARVN soldier forces open the door of a small hut, while American infantrymen cover the entrance. The soldiers enter cautiously, prepared for the possibility of hidden fighters, booby traps, or weapons caches. Instead, they find frightened civilians. Families are gathered together while identification cards are carefully examined. During the Vietnam War, identity documents played a critical role in distinguishing local residents from infiltrators. Yet appearances alone could never reveal a person's loyalties. Some villagers genuinely supported the South Vietnamese government. Others secretly aided the Viet Cong. Many simply hoped to survive whichever army happened to control their village that day. The uncertainty places enormous pressure on every decision. An innocent mistake could cost lives. As the search continues, the silence is suddenly shattered. A sharp crack echoes through the plantation, then another. sniper fire. Within seconds, soldiers dive into nearby brush and behind whatever cover they can find. Training takes over instantly. Men who moments earlier were methodically searching homes now press themselves against the earth, scanning desperately for the source of the shots. The sniper remains invisible. This is precisely how guerrilla warfare is designed to work. A single hidden rifleman can halt an entire platoon, forcing dozens of soldiers to search for an enemy who may already be slipping away. The Americans begin moving again, but now every step is measured. Bounding from tree to tree across the plantation, they advance in short bursts, while fellow soldiers provide covering fire. The distance between each trunk feels enormous. Exposure lasts only seconds. Yet those seconds can determine whether a man lives or dies. The search eventually reveals what appears to be an enemy bunker, concealed within the vegetation. Without hesitation, one soldier prepares a fragmentation grenade. He pulls the pin, counts the seconds, throws. The grenade disappears into the bunker opening. Immediately, he sprints toward cover. A violent explosion tears through the position, sending dirt, splintered wood, and debris into the air. Whether anyone was inside remains unknown. In Vietnam, soldiers often fought against enemies they rarely saw. Victory was measured not by captured ground, but by surviving another engagement. Nearby, another soldier kneels beside his field radio. Calmly but urgently, he relays the situation to higher headquarters. Coordinates, enemy contact, requests for support. In a battlefield where units are scattered across dense jungle, reliable communication is as important as ammunition. Without radios, isolated patrols could quickly become surrounded. With them, artillery, helicopters, reinforcements, or medical evacuation could be summoned within minutes. After the brief firefight subsides, soldiers begin searching the damaged structures and surrounding wreckage. Collapsed huts are examined for hidden weapons, documents, ammunition, or signs of recent enemy occupation. Every discovery, no matter how small, contributes to a larger intelligence picture. Where has the enemy been operating? How many fighters are nearby? Where will they strike next? The patrol resumes its movement. The soldiers leave the battered village behind, following dirt roads that cut between fields and dense tree lines. Their pace remains cautious. Although the immediate danger appears to have passed, experience has taught them a hard lesson. In Vietnam, the most dangerous moment often comes after the shooting stops. The enemy is patient, the jungle is silent, and the mission is far from over. As the day's fighting fades into memory, the soldiers return to a temporary campsite. For a brief moment, the tension eases. There are no gunshots, no explosions. Only the sounds of boots against the earth, distant helicopters crossing the sky, and men preparing for another night in the field. Life in Vietnam is measured in small routines. After hours of patrolling under an unforgiving tropical sun, even a simple meal becomes a welcome relief. A mess line quickly forms. Large insulated food containers, known as mermite cans, are opened, releasing clouds of steam into the humid air. Soldiers file past one by one, holding paper plates as cooks serve hot rations prepared far from the front lines. The food is basic, often repetitive, but calories mean strength, and strength means survival. Some soldiers eat while sitting on sandbags. Others lean against their packs or rest beside foxholes they dug only hours earlier. Conversations are quiet. A few men laugh with one another, finding brief moments of normalcy amid the uncertainty of war. Others eat in silence, lost in thoughts of home. Letters from family are read and reread until the paper begins to wear thin. Photographs of wives, parents, children, and girlfriends are carefully tucked inside helmet bands or carried in shirt pockets. For many, those photographs are constant reminders of the life waiting beyond the jungles of Vietnam. But rest never lasts long. Orders arrive. The patrol prepares to move once again. The soldiers shoulder heavy packs, check their weapons, and disappear into one of Vietnam's most challenging environments: dense bamboo jungle. Unlike the orderly rows of the rubber plantation, the bamboo forest is chaotic. Towering stalks block sunlight, leaving much of the jungle floor in shadow. Visibility shrinks to only a few meters. Movement becomes slow and exhausting. Branches scrape against uniforms. roots and vines catch on boots. Every step demands concentration. Somewhere beyond the thick vegetation, enemy fighters could be observing every movement. The soldiers maintain their formation, advancing carefully through narrow trails carved by previous patrols. The jungle itself becomes an obstacle. Progress is measured not in miles, but in meters. Soon, the terrain changes again. The patrol reaches a steep ravine. There are no bridges, only a single narrow log stretching across the gap. One by one, soldiers carefully balance their way across. Each man carries nearly 50 pounds of equipment: rifle, ammunition, water, medical supplies, and personal gear. A single misstep could mean injury before the enemy ever appears. Once safely across, the patrol continues toward another isolated settlement. This time, the village belongs to the Montagnards. The Montagnards are indigenous peoples who have lived for generations in Vietnam's Central Highlands, long before the arrival of French colonists or the modern conflict dividing the nation. Many Montagnard communities found themselves caught between opposing sides during the Vietnam War. Some supported South Vietnam and American forces. Others were pressured or recruited by communist fighters. Most simply hoped to protect their families and preserve their traditional way of life. As American soldiers enter the village, the atmosphere is noticeably different from earlier operations. Weapons remain ready, but the mission is no longer centered on combat. Instead, attention turns toward the people. An army medic kneels beside a young child. Years of conflict have left many remote villages with little or no access to modern healthcare. Simple illnesses that could easily be treated elsewhere often become life-threatening. The medic carefully examines the child, cleaning wounds and providing treatment using the limited medical supplies carried by the patrol. Nearby, another soldier reaches into his pack and hands out biscuits to smiling children. For a few moments, the rifles hanging from their shoulders seem almost secondary. The children respond with curiosity rather than fear. Some smile shyly. Others gather around, fascinated by the unfamiliar visitors. One woman distributes food among the children, waiting patiently nearby. The scene offers a rare glimpse of ordinary life continuing, despite years of violence. These humanitarian missions formed an important part of American counterinsurgency strategy. Military leaders understood that winning battles alone would not determine the outcome of the war. They also sought to win the trust of local communities by providing medical care, food, and assistance wherever possible. Yet the challenge remained immense. Every act of kindness unfolded against the backdrop of an ongoing conflict. The same village receiving medical treatment today might become tomorrow's battlefield. The patrol's journey continues. The soldiers leave the Montagnard village behind, crossing a shallow stream that winds through the countryside. Boots splash through the cool water as each man carefully maintains his footing. On the opposite bank, they climb another steep embankment and disappear once more into the dense Vietnamese landscape. The mission is not over. It rarely is. Each patrol leads to another. Each village gives way to another.